over half a century, children have been captivated by movie monsters. These horrific characters have haunted many young nightmares. Today's movie fans are equally enthralled by cinematic monsters and by the makeup effects wizards who bring these creatures to life.
Every day is a bad hair day.
With inventive use of new materials and mechanics, these artists and technicians are creating characters that are increasingly more frightening and bizarre.
Rolling!
Today, we'll go behind the mask with the comedy adventure Cabin Boy to see how flesh and blood actors are transformed into make-believe beings.
Cut!
And Academy Award-winning makeup artist Rick Baker reveals the secrets of famous movie monsters. Welcome to the highly inventive field of special makeup effects, where you'll meet creature and creator next on Movie Magic. The function of makeup has remained constant throughout history, to assist an actor in the creation of a character. Makeup effects include everything from the addition of a cut, burn, or scar, to the transformation of a man into an unrecognizable form. When a script calls for an alien to live among Earthmen, or dead men to walk amongst the living, the makeup effects artists are called to center stage. For the fantasy comedy film Cabin Boy, producers Tim Burton, Denise Denovi, and director Adam Resnick must create a world populated with strange characters. Cabin Boy tells the story of a young man who travels the high seas with a group of crusty old fishermen.
On their voyage at sea, there are a lot of episodes where they meet some very amazing characters. He meets a half man, half shark underneath the water named Chalky, played by Russ Tamblyn. And the masthead on the ship, played by Ricky Lake, actually comes to life. And he learns the ways of love from Callie, played by Ann Magnuson, who lives on an island and has 8 arms or 10 arms, a lot of arms.
I wanted something that was very stylized and a little bit older looking. Tony had some good ideas and he was completely in sync with what I wanted to do.
Innovative makeup effects artist Tony Gardner has established a reputation for creating fantastic, sometimes frightening characters for such films as Hocus Pocus, Army of Darkness, and Darkman. Gardner's Alterian Studios is a 10,000 square foot makeup effects lab. This facility specializes in all aspects of makeup effects, from character makeup to animatronic figures and puppets.
We seem to excel at getting the shows with major technical challenges. But I think we excel at characters and finding a balance and bringing...
one of the clouds, or the cloud character. So we're going to make a life cast of his head and going to sculpt the cloud features onto his face and around his face. So if you can picture his face as the face portion, and then out here a big puffy cloud, that's what will be going on.
For many movie fans, Lon Chaney was the master of screen horror. Known as the man with 1,000 faces, Chaney was a genius in the art of makeup. His 1923 version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of the most extraordinary characters ever created for motion pictures.
He had this wonderful ability to, no matter how horrific or how repulsive his character could be, he could get the audience's sympathy. People like to believe the extraordinary. People like to think for the Hunchback he wore a 70-pound rubber hump. In actuality, it was 20 pounds and it was made out of plaster of Paris.
The Phantom of the Opera, made in 1925, is one of Chaney's most admired films. He plays Eric, the disfigured mad organist who haunts the Paris Opera House. When Chaney read the Gaston Leroux novel, it described Eric's face as that of a skull with the flesh wasted away.
He would glue spirit gum, which was an adhesive, on his nose, and then he'd place the little strip of fish skin, which is a thin, transparent piece of skin that comes from the stomach lining of fish, and he'd pull the nose up to the way he wanted it, and then ran the rest of the piece of fish skin up into the forehead, painting it down with spirit gum, and that's how he accomplished the up-tilting of the nose.
Because his elaborate makeup removed all acting subtleties, Chaney had to employ his body to eloquent effect. Chaney's famous makeup box was the forerunner of the makeup departments of the major studios. By the 1930s, these makeup departments were operating as daytime glamour factories. But at night, in Universal's makeup lab, artist Jack Pierce worked with Boris Karloff, perfecting the face that would influence future generations of makeup artists.
My first introduction to Frankenstein's monster actually was in a monster magazine. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how you could make someone's head square.
A two-time Oscar winner for his extraordinary work on An American Werewolf in London and Harry and the Hendersons, Rick Baker's special effects makeups are inspired by his early fascination with classic movie monsters.
Early on, I thought it was Boris Karloff that did his own makeup, until I read in Famous Monsters of Filmland that this guy by the name of Jack Pierce did the makeup. From the research that I've done and knowing what makeup techniques were at the time, I believe most of it was done with a buildup of cotton and collodion. Collodion is this kind of liquid plastic type material. I really pity poor Boris who had to go through this makeup every day. The first day I think he put some spirit gum on his brow, stuck some cotton onto it, painted on a layer of this collodion, put a little bit more cotton, a little more collodion, so it was laboriously building up layer at a time to create this brow. But it took hours to do. I've read 8 hours, I've read 6 hours. I couldn't believe either one of them. It's a long process. And to be sitting in a makeup chair that long, to have some joker painting, plastic on your face isn't really a lot of fun. I spoke to some older makeup artists that knew Jack Pierce, and they said that Boris on occasion would actually wear the makeup home rather than going through the laborious procedure the next day. He actually would go home, sleep, between a couple of books and try not to roll around on his face, and then come in the morning, and then Jack would have to do a certain amount of repair to the makeup, but it was less work than starting the whole process again. At a very early age, I was fascinated by monsters. I would watch monster movies on TV whenever they would come on, and just decided that would be a really cool thing to do, is make a monster.
At age 18, Rick Baker became the protege of Dick Smith, the creator of the unforgettable makeup effects in such landmark films as Amadeus, Little Big Man, and The Exorcist. With Dick's encouragement, Rick honed his skills and then went on to train a new generation of makeup artists, including Tony Gardner.
With Rick, I had the opportunity to do a lot. I came in as the runner and, you sweep the floors, take out the trash, that kind of stuff. And as you show, you can handle more responsibility.
Pinned us to our theater seats and gave Star Wars a battle of galactic proportions. The explosive incineration of this gas tanker thrilled us with its magnitude, so devastating that only a Terminator could survive. These giant explosions remain forever vivid in our minds. But in the world of movie magic, they are actually baby blasts, created by the masters of miniature pyrotechnics. Today, we'll meet two of the best and learn the secrets of their intricate and dangerous craft. And we'll witness the creation of a spectacular helicopter crash for Cliffhanger that has Sylvester Stallone hanging on for dear life. So take a journey to the edge of creative destruction, to the world of miniature pyrotechnics, where the smallest blast will blow you away. Next on Movie Magic.